Hi, I'm Megan and welcome to my kitchen. Today I've got 3 easy and delicious Thanksgiving side recipes for you. Today's video is also part of a collab that is hosted by Vickie and Rebekah. I'll have their channels linked in the description box down below. As soon as you're done watching my video, make sure you check out their channels as well as the collab playlist. There will be lots of yummy Thanksgiving side ideas for you for your upcoming Thanksgiving dinner. All right, let's get into these recipes. First up, I tried something new. This is a cabbage au gratin. This is actually my Uncle Travis's recipe. Here are the ingredients that we're going to use. First, we've got some milk, then a can of cream of onion soup. And y'all, to be perfectly honest, before I saw his recipe, I didn't even know that they made cream of onion soup. It's just not something that I've ever looked for or really noticed or used. So we really enjoyed it though. I'll definitely use it again. If you don't like cream of onion or you don't have it, you could use whatever cream of, blank soup you do prefer. We're going to use some salt and pepper. And then the recipe calls for a medium head of cabbage shredded. I was feeling kind of lazy this day, so I bought the bagged shredded cabbage. I used 3 bags. You could probably get away with using 2 bags, but I used 3 and it worked out just fine. We're also going to need some shredded cheese and then buttered breadcrumbs. Now, I didn't have any plain breadcrumbs on hand, so I decided to use some Ritz crackers. I've got my oven preheating to 400 degrees. In this pot here, I've got some salted water that I've brought to a boil. I'm going to add the cabbage and boil this for 12 minutes. And then I'm going to drain the cabbage really, really well. You really want to take a couple extra minutes and try to get absolutely as much of the water out as you possibly can. To the same pot that I cooked the cabbage in, I just wiped it out. I've got it over about medium-low heat. I'm going to add in my can of cream of onion soup as well as the milk. And in just a second, you'll see me add just a little bit of milk to that can and kind of give it a little shake and add that. I'm also going to add in the salt and pepper and stir it until it's smooth. Next, I'm going to stir in the cheese and cook it for just a minute or two until the cheese is melted, and then I'm going to take it off the stove and set it to the side. Now, while I do that, just a quick note, in today's video, I tried to share some recipes with you that are a little more on the unique side rather than like strictly traditional Thanksgiving sides like mashed potatoes or stuffing or dressing or deviled eggs or something like that. I feel like, and I could be wrong, if I am, leave me, your opinion either way down in the comments below. But I feel like most people for Thanksgiving have traditional recipes or family recipes that they kind of stick to, or, your aunt or dad or mom or whoever may bring a dish. So I try to give you a different idea, something that you can add to your Thanksgiving Day table or, take somewhere. So anyway, enough chatting. Here I have I think this is a 9x9 casserole dish. I sprayed it with some cooking spray. I laid down that drained cabbage. Then I'm going to spread over the cheese mixture and spread that out. And then I'm going to add my buttered crumbs. Like I said, I'm using Ritz crackers, and I actually really liked the Ritz crackers. I think I'd stick with the crackers. But again, you can use breadcrumbs. You could use leftover bread, make fresh homemade breadcrumbs, whatever you prefer. All right, this is going to go into the oven. It doesn't bake very long at all, 10 to 15 minutes until it's golden brown. This is what it looks like when it's done, and I would strongly suggest letting this sit for maybe 10 or 15 minutes before you go to serve it to let it kind of set up a little bit. And I hope you can tell from this, but this was so cheesy and creamy. It was really good. I wasn't sure about it. I really don't eat a lot of cooked cabbage, but my husband and I really enjoyed this. I'll definitely make it again. Next, we tried another new recipe. These are roasted carrots with candied pecans and goat cheese. These were so delicious. My husband and I both really enjoyed them. I'll definitely make this again. So here are the ingredients we're going to use. We need some carrots. Now, it would be really pretty for Thanksgiving or really any kind of special meal. If you can find like the rainbow carrots, I think that would be really pretty. We also need some crumbled goat cheese, butter, salt and pepper, cinnamon. The recipe calls for fresh thyme. I didn't have any, so I'm just going to use some dried thyme, brown sugar, and then the recipe, which I apologize, I forgot to mention, but all of the recipes from today's video will be down in the description box below. The recipe calls for you to make homemade candied pecans, and you can totally do that, but to keep it easy this night, I just used some store-bought candied pecans. I've got my oven preheating to 375 degrees. The recipe says to cook these at 350, which you can do, but I was cooking chicken this night and it baked at 375, so I just decided to cook these at the slightly higher temperature and I'll just cook it for less time. So I peeled the carrots and then I cut them up. As you know, carrots have kind of a bigger end and then a skinnier end. So I just tried to cut them in a way that they would all cook at about the same time. I lined a pan with aluminum foil, which I would highly recommend you do that. And then I'm going to drizzle the butter over the carrots, sprinkle the brown sugar over them, give that a toss. Then I added the salt, pepper, and cinnamon. I'm going to give that one final toss. These are going to go into the preheated oven, and I baked these for about 40-45 minutes. You just want to cook them until they're tender. To finish these up, you're going to add the carrots to whatever serving dish you want to use, and I'm going to sprinkle some of the crumbled goat cheese on top, then sprinkle some of the candied pecans, and garnish with a little bit of the thyme, and then that's it. They are ready to eat, and like I said, we really enjoyed these. These were delicious. So yummy. Finally, I'm going to share with you like the easiest rolls ever. These are perfect if you're new to cooking, intimidated by yeast doughs, or like let's say you or someone were supposed to bring the rolls and forgot, or they got burned, which happens in our family. These are perfect to whip together. They take no time at all, just a couple of ingredients. So here are the ingredients you'll need. You'll need some self-rising flour, and if all you have on hand is all-purpose, no worries. Just Google, how to make all-purpose flour into self-rising. I think you need to add salt and baking powder, but Google or the internet will show you the proportions. In addition to that, you need some milk, mayonnaise. Now, I've only made these with mayonnaise. I don't know if you can use Miracle Whip. You can try it, but I've just stick with the mayonnaise. I know it works. All right, and then we're going to use a little bit of sugar. You can omit the sugar if you would like. I've got the oven preheating to 350 degrees. In this bowl, I'm going to add in the flour and the sugar and give that a little stir. Then I'm going to add in the milk and mayonnaise and stir that until it's combined. Just combined. I'm not going to overmix it. Now, this is a little bit of a sticky batter. And a quick note, I did quarter the original recipe. I just wanted to make a few just for my husband and I this night. But the full recipe makes 12 rolls. So once that's stirred together, I'm going to set that to the side. And like I said, this is sticky, so you do want to make sure you grease your muffin tins really well. I use cupcake liners this particular night. You don't have to use those. I've used them and not used them before, and they still turn out fine. These are going to go into the preheated oven for about 15 minutes until they're slightly golden brown and a toothpick inserted comes out clean. You want to let these cool for a couple minutes, and then that's it. Like I said, so easy. Now, these aren't... I don't know how to say this. These aren't like a super incredibly flavorful roll. They're not a yeast roll. Obviously, we didn't add any yeast, but they are a quick roll. I would say they're a cross between a biscuit and a roll. But you add a little butter on there or some jam or honey. Use it to sop up the gravy. And all the goodness from your Thanksgiving meal, and these are yummy little rolls. And I tried to show you here how like soft and fluffy these are on the inside, so I highly recommend you give these a try. All right, that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, hit the thumbs up button below and subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and don't forget to check out the collab playlist. Again, it'll be linked down below. Have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.